In LA this week,
I'm Anna Marcos. You have never seen a homeless forum like this one in San Pedro before. There's about 1,000 people in the house. More on that coming up.
1 out of every 4 lost or abandoned animals at city-run shelters were euthanized last year. I'm Gil Reyes with the truth about cats and dogs and the city's plan to save them.
I'm Rasha Goel. Up next, where city officials are banning the use of smokeless tobacco in the city of Los Angeles.
hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Our top story this week, homelessness has become a growing problem in more and more cities in LA County. San Pedro is now working to meet its homeless challenge head on. Ana Marcos brings us more on a recent homeless forum and Councilmember Joe Buscaino's plan to tackle homelessness in this first part of a special report.
More than 1,000 people crowd into the Warner Grand Theater for the Homeless Forum, a response to recent unrest in the community as San Pedro struggles with its homeless problem.
We are all here today because the conversation of homelessness has created a lot of tension in San Pedro.
Part of the reason for that tension, a recent failed attempt by homeless advocates to move so-called tiny houses into LA neighborhoods for the homeless. The 4x6 wooden homes on wheels caused an uproar in San Pedro.
It's not a decent way for any human being to live. It's basically an oversized doghouse. Where are they going to go to the restroom, use the facilities? How are they going to clean themselves?
The anger and the tension is because these people who put the people in the dog houses are saying we hate homeless. We don't hate homeless. We only hated the idea of them putting them in dog houses on the streets.
Tiny houses, as we know them, are not legal. Those are the sheds that are used to place humans in. They are not habitable.
I think it's a noble idea. But if the area we're talking about placing them in has gangs, drugs, in 6 months, you're going to wish you hadn't.
Even some of the homeless weren't ready to call the tiny houses home.
I think it was a bunch of bull in the beginning, bringing up boxes that looked like a cardboard and calling it homes. Where were they going to put them in the first place? It was like a joke, We're not to be made fun of.
Temporary homeless shelters are scarce in San Pedro. 2 programs, Harbor Interfaith and Rainbow Services, both work to place mostly families in supportive housing. Other than that, these homeless residents are on their own.
I go to Harbor Interfaith and they're very helpful. That's down the street.
What do they do to help you?
They let you use the phone, they give you clothes, they give you food.
Everybody needs help. Whatever the help could be, whoever the help can bring down, everybody needs help.
The tiny houses have been removed, but the homeless problem remains.
I would like to see a safe haven for them, a place for them and for the community.
Councilmember Joe Buscaino has unveiled an 8-point plan to tackle San Pedro's homeless problem in a town caught between the rights of its residents and the rights of its homeless. And we'll have more on the plan in the second part of our special report next week. I'm Ana Marcos for LA This Week.
Councilmember Buscaino also supports a funding campaign to help Harbor Interfaith Services expand homeless programs in San Pedro. To donate, visit gofundme.com/Harbor Interfaith. While a piece of psychedelic rock history would be turned into affordable housing if downtown demonstrators have their way, as Gil Reyes reports, LA's Morrison Hotel, which famously influenced Rock and Roll Hall of Famers The Doors, is taking center stage once again.
The title and cover photo of this classic 1970s Doors album pays tribute to this former hotel located on Pico and Hope Streets in downtown. Today, the big window where singer Jim Morrison and his bandmates posed is boarded up, The building's doors are padlocked. The Morrison Hotel sits abandoned for 10 years now after the city deemed it unsafe to occupy.
So we see it as a waste of space and a waste of just valuable resources and valuable housing to have an empty building here when we have thousands of people on the street living in tents.
What do we want? Housing! When do we want it? Now!
Downtown residents are urging the city to renovate the empty building into low-income housing. It lies within 2 blocks of a planned $500 million luxury high-rise. Demonstrators say it's further proof the poor are being squeezed out of the neighborhood.
We have 15,000 units of luxury housing that have been built in this downtown area and only 900 units of housing for the poor. It's time that the city start doing more to expand our stock of affordable housing.
Mayor Garcetti, you say that you want to reduce homelessness. Here's an opportunity to put action to your words.
The Morrison Hotel has 110 empty units, rooms that these demonstrators say could be put to better use. In downtown LA, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
10 years ago, tenants successfully sued the landlord for faulty plumbing, mildew, and other problems. The hotel closed soon afterwards. Well, you won't be seeing baseball players or managers chewing tobacco in the dugout anymore as city leaders kick the habit out of the ballpark. Raja Goel explains. Rasha.
Yana, the City Council recently approved an ordinance proposal which would ban the use of smokeless tobacco at baseball and other sports facilities and parks in the city of Los Angeles. Now, Los Angeles will be joining other cities such as San Francisco and Boston to help reduce the number of young people getting addicted to this habit.
And when you look at great players like Tony Gwynn, one of the greatest players to ever play baseball, last summer the Hall of Famer died at age 54 after a long battle with salivary gland cancer, which he attributed to his longtime use of chewing tobacco.
City Council member Jose Huizar has been at the forefront in promoting to set the right example for the youth and for the health of the players, that tobacco and baseball don't mix.
And when you look at high school boy athletes, their use of this horrible habit is 3 times as high as other high school students.
Officials say many young kids look up to these major league players, like former Red Sox pitcher Curt Schilling, who was diagnosed with throat cancer last year after 3 decades of chewing tobacco.
Baseball remains a prime gateway for smokeless tobacco and hooking young people in its use.
The city has been working with the Knock Tobacco Out of the Park campaign to promote tobacco-free baseball and reduce smokeless or chewing tobacco use among kids. Officials say players advertise the habit when they use it during a game that is broadcast on television.
Every game, every fan in the stands, every television set, every child that sees this real-life product endorsement, unfortunately also sees it inextricably linked to the heroic on-field actions of their heroes.
It's not okay. It's just not.
According to officials, smokeless tobacco contains at least 28 known carcinogens.
It is the same as other forms of tobacco. It is just as addicting. It has the same type of cardiovascular effects. It also causes cancer. It also causes other types of problems such as dental problems as well as reproductive harms.
It's a very, very serious health risk, and I would love to, and I'm actually so thrilled that the Dodgers organization is fully behind this.
It's time to play ball and strike tobacco out of the ballpark.
Reporting from Dodger Stadium, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Once finalized, the measure will apply to all athletic venues at all levels within city limits, including Dodger Stadium, and will cover the players, fans, and anyone in the entire venue. Well, an audit of the city's Animal Services Department reveals more can be done to save the lives of dogs, cats, snakes, and other animals dwelling in our shelters. Gil Reyes reports from South LA.
The numbers are heartbreaking. 25% of animals in city-run shelters were put to sleep last year.
And while admittedly we may not be able to save every single animal who comes to a shelter, 14,083 lives is too many lost.
City Controller Ron Galperin refers to the more than 14,000 dogs, cats, rabbits, and other animals euthanized between June 2014 and 2015. At this news conference at South LA Animal Shelter, Galperin says newborn kittens were the biggest victims, requiring constant care and susceptible to disease. More than 4,000 were put to sleep to end their suffering. Dogs were more likely to be euthanized for lack of space.
And I know I, for one, will be focusing on the rates of euthanasia over in this area compared to the valley and the west side.
South LA Councilman Herb Wesson reacts to the high kill rate in his district compared to others. The euthanasia rate in South LA shelter is 37%, more than twice the number in West LA and nearly doubling the amount in the West Valley. While overall, these stats are improvements over the past decade, city leaders are recommending more space at shelters and could soon be asking the public sector for funds to build it. Others say space is already available.
We did build this new South Los Angeles shelter that we're at today, but the old shelter is still there, and I believe we could retrofit it and use it to house additional shelter animals.
And the final recommendation goes out to you, the public, to visit one of the city's 6 shelters and meet some of these cats and dogs if you're thinking about adopting.
If you stare into the eyes of one of our great pets for longer than 20 seconds, we know you'll fall in love and take a new family member home today.
In South LA, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
A decade ago, officials had set a goal of no kills at city shelters, though we've fallen short. Galperin says the city is euthanizing half as many animals as before. Well, it's a competition with community input. Rasha Goel has more on how an iconic space in Los Angeles is being revitalized.
They need more dog-friendly areas for dogs to roam around. So if I really had to point one thing out, if they could find something, a good-sized piece of land for dogs to run around, that would be great too.
Well, Raul, who frequents Pershing Square, could possibly see his wish come true. An international design contest is being held to help re-envision Pershing Square, the 5-acre park in the heart of the city.
It has the potential to not only be a highly utilized public space by those who live, work, and visit downtown, it also can serve as a catalyst for continued economic development and growth.
Councilmember Jose Huizar has been key in leading the square's renovation. Officials say it's a renovation that is much needed.
Pershing Square was dedicated in 1866 and originally named La Plaza Baja, and the square underwent its first renovation in 1911. So today, here again, this design competition is the next step in what has been a long legacy for transformation for Pershing Square in the downtown area.
The competition will take place over the next 6 months and is a 3-step process. In November, 10 semifinalists will be selected based on their qualifications and design concept. Then it will be narrowed down to 4 finalists in December. And in February of 2016, they will be presenting to a jury in Los Angeles and a winner will be announced.
Additionally, teams are encouraged to ensure that their designs are informed by the way people currently use the park or could use the park in the future. Unlike the current design, the way people use the park is more important than the architecture.
What we're establishing here today is a public-private partnership at its best.
The Pershing Square design competition is open to anyone. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
And for more information, log on to PershingSquareRenew.com. While Pershing Square becomes more family-friendly, a new data sharing plan between city and state, and a major makeover for a youth center in Mar Vista Gardens. All these stories in CityBeat. Just as officials announced the launch of an international design competition for Pershing Square, 2 new playgrounds made their debuts. Both play areas are located in the southeast portion of the park and replace previously underutilized decomposed granite areas. These improvements are the beginning of new development set to enhance the nearly 150-year-old park.
As young couples begin to raise a family, we want to ensure there's those public amenities for everyone.
California Attorney General Kamala D. Harris joined LAPD Police Chief Charlie Beck and U.S. Representative Karen Bass to announce the launch of Open Justice, a first-of-its-kind criminal justice web-based open data initiative that will give the public access to data collected by the Justice Department in an interactive, easy-to-use, and transparent way. Harris said the initiative will improve trust and accountability with police and communities while improving public safety. Open Justice consists of 2 parts, a raw database that can be downloaded and a justice dashboard spotlighting key metrics.
The California Department of Justice, by the way, sits on a trove of data, a treasure trove of data. And so, again, the spirit behind this is we want to share this with the public in a way that can encourage better public policy around these issues.
The Los Angeles Police Department has focused on trust-based policing this year. We've opened dialogues. We've commenced training. And this is absolutely key to that.
A major makeover will soon be underway at the Jack and Cindy Jones Youth Center in the Mar Vista Gardens public housing development, following a groundbreaking by officials from the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles and the Santa Monica Boys and Girls Club. The center, which serves more than 600 students, will be expanded to include a new art room, education music center, and more. The club's operations in Mar Vista Gardens are being funded by a $1 million donation by the Joneses, and the $1.7 million in renovations were secured by the Housing Authority.
You're giving the gift of joy and of hope and of opportunity, and that's an incredible gift and an incredible legacy, so thank you for that.
Well, last week we reported LAPD officers have begun using body cameras in the field. So far, 80 officers have started recording their interactions with the public. But criticism is mounting over who can and can't view the footage. Rasha Goel has more.
The LAPD recently began rolling out its plan to equip 7,000 body cameras on police officers. LAPD's mission area officers were the first of 3 LAPD divisions to receive training on how to use the cameras.
Rather than the he said, she said mentality that we've stuck to for the last 100 years, we can now say, roll the video. That's a game changer.
Officers will train on the job while wearing the cameras, which can record up to 5.5 hours of video. Officers will then upload the video to a cloud storage space for long-term storage. LAPD Chief Charlie Beck says it's a day that will go down in history.
The exhaustive crafting of a policy, the exhaustive development of technology that goes with it, and this is just the beginning.
However, the cameras have also drawn criticism from some activists concerned that the material will not be made available to the public through public records requests. Mayor Eric Garcetti recently addressed that concern.
The first filing that is coming from one of these this week here is a domestic violence incident, and the evidence from it is of an altercation or engagement of the suspect and the victim in that incident. That is not something that should be shared publicly. We should not have a policy that says automatically that goes out to the public. I want accountability on both parts.
I don't want one victim to not call the Los Angeles Police Department because she is afraid that what she reports to us will wind up on YouTube or in the public domain.
Videos will be made accessible only after the chief approves their release to the public. All LAPD officers are expected to be wearing the cameras by the end of next year. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Officials say an analysis will be done after 6 months to check on the efficiency of the cameras. Well, it's been a long time coming, but now kids in the San Fernando Valley can finally have a real kick on the field. These young soccer players are trying out their new synthetic soccer field at the Van Nuys Sherman Oaks War Memorial Park. The beautiful new turf is a stunning sight and a welcome relief from the dust and rock-covered fields the players used to play on. They say that for years, there was no grass, making it hard to play ball, but not anymore.
It's way better. It's easier to play soccer and kick the ball.
Council District 4, the Department of Rec and Parks, and other city departments recently unveiled 3 new synthetic fields for the neighborhood.
They need a place to come and play. Parents need a place to have their kids and parents get exercise. So we're really hopeful that this is the first step in the city fixing the rest of this great park, which just serves the community.
Located in one of the most heavily used sports complexes, the fields host thousands of soccer games each year. But with a lack of rainfall, officials said maintaining natural turf proved difficult. so they decided to go another direction.
This is the latest and newest and greatest generation of synthetic fields anywhere in the city of Los Angeles.
The synthetic turf, which costs $2.7 million, allows the fields to be used year-round and will result in substantial water conservation. The fields will save 5.5 million gallons of water a year. This brings the number of synthetic fields in Los Angeles to more than 30. City engineers said they used the best material available.
This infill material is 100% natural, environmentally safe, and organic. Yes!
The synthetic fields are expected to last up to 10 years. While active-duty Navy ships dock in San Pedro to flex their military might, Gil Reyes reports from the sold-out LA Navy days.
Visitors lucky enough to snag tickets before they sold out got a chance to climb aboard and check out the gun show.
Just the fact that it was for families, and I just want to educate my son about the military and how they support our country and protect our country, and basically let him know that these are the superheroes, the real superheroes of our world.
Thousands of visitors showed up at the LA Harbor for LA Navy Days. That's where 3 active-duty Navy ships docked temporarily for public tours. Modern American sea power up close.
So if you guys look to the rear, or if you look at this system right here, is the VLS vertical launching system. All right, it just fires a bunch of missiles. You have a missile for just about everything. You have anti-air, anti-sub.
The visiting vessels included 2 guided missile cruisers from San Diego, the USS Bunker Hill and the USS Cape St. George. Also docked, the guided missile destroyer, the USS Halsey from Pearl Harbor.
My girlfriend's son is actually going to be on, what's the ship?
USS Halsey. It's going to be reporting in Pearl Harbor when it goes over there.
So we're looking forward to seeing these amazing ships.
And I'll get to see it before he does.
A family affair for sure on board these maritime models of military might. At the Port of LA, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Though the visiting vessels have sailed home, the port's very own USS Iowa and Lane Victory are open on most days for museum tours. Well, as we reported earlier, city leaders announced an international redesign competition for Pershing Square, creating a buzz on social media. Here's This Week in Tweets. After the announcement of the competition, Pershing Square Renew posted a public-private partnership at its best as #DTLA community participates as co-creators and visionaries. Juan Vasquez tweeted, "It's about community taking ownership over the use of space. Will be awesome to see how Pershing Square Renew brings this to downtown LA." Pershing Square Renew also wrote, "The challenge is not just a design competition, but a challenge to create a space that everyone loves. #Pershing Square Renew Challenge." And Pershing Square also posted a pic of Councilmember Jose Huizar at the announcement, writing, "Take part in re-envisioning Pershing Square, LA's oldest park in the heart of the city. We challenge everyone to reimagine the park as a world-class public space." And later, Pershing Square Renew posted a black and white flashback photo to 4 architects in 1987 holding up models for the redesign of Pershing Square. To participate in the competition, visit PershingSquareRenew.com/competition. And that's a look at This Week in Tweets. Well, a street in Pacoima that used to attract crime and loitering is now a people's street plaza for neighborhood events. Gil Reyes reports from Pacoima.
Folklorico dancers celebrate the official opening of Pacoima's new neighborhood hangout. It's a 1-block stretch of Bradley Avenue, now called Bradley Avenue Plaza.
Do you remember how it used to look like and how does it compare to now?
Oh, it's night and day.
This is amazing what's going on here.
Pacoima resident Alisa Avalos-Venzer feels safe enough to bring her kids here to exercise on new fitness equipment or to relax on shaded outdoor furniture.
But before this, it was basically a dead-end outlet. When we had a lot of issues, not just with cars, but we had issues where you had people loitering and really not doing anything that was productive. Now you've got a space that the community can not only enjoy, but really draws people from outside of the community, which is great.
Pacoima Area Councilman Felipe Fuentes teamed with neighborhood groups like Pacoima Beautiful to help raise money for the Spruce Up, turning Bradley into what the city calls a People's Street Plaza. Area residents already taking advantage of Bradley Plaza, hosting free Zumba and breakdancing exhibitions and classes, and also free Wi-Fi will be available here soon. But what else do area residents want to see?
More exercise machines, more tables, more kid-friendly things, because if the kids find it exciting and fun, then they're going to drag out their parents.
Dan Barnett, owner of the local laundromat, says he likes the plaza and agrees the visitors and their events improve the neighborhood.
But they don't have any parking, and so they come into my area where my customers would have parked and park there, and they don't really know not to park here, but they don't read the signs that I have posted.
So jot that down. More parking spaces, yet another suggestion to make this great street even greater.
Please come to Pacoima. It's a different Pacoima, and it's a better Pacoima.
In Pacoima, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
2 other people's street plazas are located in Leimert Park and in North Hollywood. Well, enjoy theater in the woods for the whole family. Podcasting takes center stage, and get the inside scoop on architect Frank Gehry. All this in this week's Things to Do. Sunday mornings mean fun for families at Will Geer's Theatrical Botanicum in Topanga. Peter Assop's annual Kids Concert Series takes place in the Theatricum's magical outdoor amphitheater in the woods. On September 20th, enjoy Rhythm Child as Norman Jones beats his drums and plays soulful rhythms, making music for parents that kids can understand. He was the winner of the John Lennon Songwriting Contest Grand Prize, recipient of both a National Parenting Publication Gold Award and a citation from the Los Angeles City Council. He also got an invitation to play at the White House. Will Geer's Theatricum Botanicum is located at 1419 North Topanga Canyon Boulevard in Topanga, midway between Malibu and the San Fernando Valley. For more information and to purchase tickets, call 310-455-3723. The Los Angeles Podcast Festival is back for its 4th year of bringing the biggest names in podcasting together for a 3-day extravaganza at the luxurious Sofitel Hotel in Los Angeles. During the course of the weekend-long event, taking place September 18th through the 20th, you'll see live podcast recordings, panels, special events, and parties, along with a special stand-up comedy show on Saturday, September 19th. The Sofitel Hotel is located at 8555 Beverly Boulevard. For tickets, visit eventbrite.com and search podcast. Architect Frank Gehry and architecture critic Paul Goldberger discuss Gehry's prolific and groundbreaking career to mark the opening of the special exhibition Frank Gehry. Gehry presents a comprehensive examination of his extraordinary body of work from the early 1960s to the present, featuring more than 200 drawings, many of which have never been seen publicly, and 65 models that illuminate the evolution of Gehry's thinking. Tracing the arc of his career, the exhibition focuses on 2 main themes: urbanism and the development of the new systems of digital design and fabrication, including his use of a software tool which allows the digital manipulation of 3D representations. This retrospective offers an opportunity to reflect on the development of Gehry's work and to understand the processes of one of the great architectural minds. The exhibit runs now through March 20th at LACMA, located at 5905 Wilshire Boulevard. For more, visit lacma.org. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane. From all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.